What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Snapchat. Better late than never, as I'd like to say. Actually, we haven't had to say that too many times. This is probably the latest we've gotten the Snapchat out. We are filming this as of Wednesday, so we are midway through the week here, so you can expect another Snapchat episode, obviously, to hit you guys early next week, Monday, as typical. But we wanted to go ahead and get this done. We have not broken our streak yet. We wanted to keep it this way. We wanted to ensure that we don't miss a week here. And how you doing, bud? Glad to be able to do this.
Yeah, I'm doing great, Cozy, and it's like it's been a pretty crazy week. Obviously, a lot of interest about the Snapchat, where the Snapchat's been, and we got a brand new card that came out, which I think was by far one of the most anticipated cards to come out this season. We got a lot to talk about, buddy. A lot to talk about.
Yeah, man, that is for sure. We have as one of the subjects the future of the Snapchat, and we don't want to scare you guys even early. It has nothing to do with us stopping the Snap. So I get this is a great transition into what we're talking about. So, guys, we are now two and a half years. Yeah, 2.5 years that we have not missed an episode, and we never plan on it. We've had some crazy things happen, from power outages to trips to you name it, and we've got it done. And recently, this week, it was like the triple fold, man. Quite the busy week over here. First and foremost, as I'm sure you guys saw, was commentating. Just a dream of mine, being able to do a pro event of casting, and was doing that for Marvel Rivals. Super fun. But on top of that, one of my kids, I have one kid. My kid had a medical thing we had to work through, and then my side of the family came, and I only get to see them once a year. They came in as the casting concluded to go to Disneyland. So I'm fresh off 2 days at the happiest place on earth. I feel like death. They don't tell you that when you're there, that you come out feeling like death and destruction. But here we are, man. We're able to get we don't want to break our 2.5 year streak, so we wanted to have maybe a little bit of a quicker one, but an episode of the Snapchat.
Absolutely. And I want to start off by saying, first of all, congratulations on the work that you did with Marvel Rivals in the casting position, because I know for a fact that's a dream come true for you. We've talked about, casting, like just us ourselves, shooting the breeze, stuff like that. I know how important it is to you. And I had an opportunity to watch you at work, and I have to say you were absolutely tremendous. And I'm not just saying that to you because you're my friend. I'm saying that to you as someone who knows how hard it is to put that work in, who knows the types of nerves that, kind of runs through your body as you sit there in front of thousands of people trying to, break into a scene that you're new to. You got pro gamers left and right, pro casters left and right, and Cozy Snap, baby, breaking the mold, going in there, buddy. I was so proud of you, and honestly, you did a phenomenal job. Dude,
thank you, man. It was, I like that you said the new audience thing. First of all, man, I love you. I love you. But Stroud was watching his pro team, so he casted the whole thing. So I was on his screen for like 2 hours, and I had to go back and see. And the amount of people are like, "Isn't that Marvel Snap dude?" And I loved that. I was like, "Yes, we have snappers out there everywhere, closet snappers, as I like to call them." But thanks, man. Yeah, I really appreciate it. It has definitely been taxing on the body, to say the least, just trying to do a little bit of everything. I think I made a commitment a long time ago. Family comes first, both with my decision making, but also my time. I can't, it's why I don't stream, guys. The secret's out. I would love it too much, and I would be away from my family too much. For me personally, that's for me. And so with being able to do all the content, like, I could be an awful father and husband and make sure all my channels got, content, or I can make sure I put what, priority and family first. And so, super apologize for getting late on the Snapchat here, guys. I can apologize, but at the same time, like, saw a lot of the comments, and some of them crossed the line a little bit, guys. All right, it sucks we even have to open this way, but just want to let you guys know, like, I love Snap. I still love Snap. It's an incredible game with a very unique flavor that I don't think will ever go away, and also, like, my love for this community and everything tied to it. But as a creator and as a father and as a husband, we'll keep growing as people, and that's going to naturally happen. So to hear and have words put in both of our mouths at several times, we and Alex, I think, are very pros at ignoring the noise. I don't think we've ever cared about that, but we've done 2.5 years of never missing, and that expectation is pretty hard to follow up on. I think the pressure has gotten to us a lot of times at certain areas and times, and we don't want that for us. We're going to keep on trying not to break that streak, but if you saw last episode, you know how much we love we're loving this and loving each other. And listen, I love Marvel Snap a lot. I love Alex 10 times more than that. And, this isn't going, it's not going anywhere. And I appreciate the passion. We love that you care. I'm going on a monologue, but we love that you guys care how much that we put this out on time and not missing it. But at the same time, there's definitely like a line that I feel like was a tad crossed.
I feel like you should never have to apologize for your success. You've done a tremendous amount of work for the Snap community. I remember watching your early videos and thinking that this guy's amazing. Like, look at all the editing and just the way you handle yourself, the way you speak, the way you can carry entertainment. It's incredible. And somehow you've continued to make that process better. You've continued to make each and every video better. And it's only natural that you enter another space like Marvel Rivals and you take off, because at your heart, you're an incredibly talented creator, an incredibly motivated creator. And guess what? You're also extremely committed to the profession, to your family, and of course to the promises you make in the Snapchat and everything else. And I know you're trying your best. And I hope that everyone watching understands that Cozy is trying his best. I never want you to feel, Cozy, that you're in a position where you have to apologize for your success. The fact that you're being, you're doing so well in Rivals, this is a great opportunity for you. And I think that every Snapchat that I get to do with you is not only a ton of fun, but it's also something that, like that last episode, like I watched it back, like smiling
so
like ear to ear. And I hope we can continue doing this, but also I want you to know that at the same time, so proud of the success you have found. And I hope that our audience, who has watched you progress through over 124 episodes of the Snapchat, is proud of you too.
Well, it's official, guys. I'm getting a tattoo on my chest that says I love Alex Kochep. Big Canadian flag, the whole works. Thank you, buddy. You know the love I have, for you, and I think the love that I have for this, and not only Snapchat, but just trying to do as much as I can for each, and the what it takes. I think there are times I wish I had more time. Certainly, and without question, this is easily the most fun I have. Like, this is so fun every week. Like that's truly what drives a lot of this. And altogether, man, I appreciate that. Listen, I totally get if you guys hate Rivals. No harm to, like, I obviously, man, different strokes for different folks, as they always say, right? We're all bound to like our own thing. Never force you guys to watch that content. Please don't. Has it affected the content here? Slightly. Not even slightly. Yes, it has. And I'm sad about it. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to, try my damn hardest to keep on getting videos out. And I don't think it represents, like, current times never represent current picture, right? So I could come back in 2 weeks and do 5 deck guides. It all depends on what's happening in my life. And right now, personal life, also extremely crazy. A lot of things I can't even share. So that's what's been going on over here. Hate to start this, with a little bit of a cold open rather than our usual warmth that we have here. We're excited about to talk about today and what it has to bring, but we just saw as a whole some of the reception. And again, there's been times Alex hasn't been able to make it and we barely made it happen, vice versa. And we don't want that pressure on us ever. We plan on making it all the time. We've got 2.5 years, but if we don't, it's going to inevitably happen. And if it does, it's okay. It's going to be okay, guys. But with that, it's going to be a quicker episode today, but we're going to kind of give our first impressions of Firehair and our thoughts on her. Obviously, she came out yesterday as of today's recording, and just kind of our first thoughts playing with the card. Even though it's been a busy week, I've been able to get some snapping and play with a good amount of Firehair there. Also, OTA killed me. I could not do my video on the OTA, but obviously been able to experience the OTA and kind of give our recap review, what y'all missed, if you missed it yourself, and or our thoughts on that. And then we're going to talk about the future of the Snapchat. We put that bad boy first. Alex, what are we talking about on your side?
Cozy will be talking about Star Brand in review. I know the card's already gone, but we'll be talking about Star Brand nonetheless. Also, we're talking about whether or not Season Pass cards are OP. Let's just have a little frank conversation about the state of Season Pass cards. And then finally, as always, our Snapchat mailbag.
Firehair, obviously, if we were to talk about her on Monday, we were both very excited about the card. We had high, anticipations about her working, with Misery and Destroy and everything under the sun. And I would say she performed even better than I thought in the role that she was going to play, but about evened out where I thought she would be ultimately. Like, as a card, she's really good, but the decks, I still think we're even just scratching the surface.
You literally knocked it out of the park with what you just said. That's exactly how I felt as well.
Okay.
Basically, the card has tremendous potential. the fact that it can trigger multiple times on multiple destroys and has like, it just makes it insane. Like, quite frankly, it's insane. However, the deck building has to get figured out. This feels like, you know what it feels like? It feels like Anti-Venom. It feels like Ajax, where like the first couple attempts or the first couple weeks of deck building are going to be sloppy. And then some genius is going to figure out a way to break Firehair, and it's going to bring the meta to its knees.
Yeah.
It feels like it has that type of potential. And it's also, I know we love using this phrase, but it's going to age like fine wine because it synergizes with Destroy, it synergizes with On Reveal, it synergizes with so many different things. I already came away impressed. And to touch on what you were saying, when I came into my testing, I had like 8 decks ready. Like, I did not know where to start. I had 8 decks ready, and some of them were crap. So this is the way it works. And a couple of them, I'm like, damn, I can't believe Firehair just actually completely tipped the scales for that game single-handedly. So I was really impressed.
Yeah, I had the ultimate time playing with her because I played her while I was waiting in line for rides at Disney, which was fantastic. So I had a long time. I would have like 40-minute spurts. And I agree, like I would open up, I'm like, okay, what deck first? I'm like, oh gosh, there's just so many. And I got to tell you, man, so Destroy obviously felt really good. Like, there's just so much you could do with Destroy. And I think how you just said, age like fine wine, she's going to do even better, especially when we get those 2 cards we were talking about last week. That enable, like that.
Kid Omega and Elixir, I think, are the two that synergize with Destroy. Yeah.
Those 2 are going to be crazy with it. Like, the combo making of like 3 turns ahead is going to be so nuts with Firehair. Like, she complicates the game in a great way. So that was a lot of fun. I know, like, Thor and Billy Ray. Billy Ray. I love
Billy
Ray.
Bob.
Billy Ray
Cyrus.
God, I'm tired. I'm tired. Beta Ray and Thor, it was nasty. Like, really good. Misery, clearly, like, the term misery loves company, right? Like, clearly that was a synergy. I think Mill always is fun to play, and then you play it and you're like, it hovers at like a 51, 52, whatever %, but she obviously made it that much better. I don't know if you saw that Galactus clip with her. That was nuts. Like, she has really cool interactions, and again, we're only a day past her release, and so that's what has me pumped, man. Like, this card has tremendous value in the future.
Where I played her and I had the most success with, like, there was a bunch of different successful decks, but the one that really stood out to me was I was playing this list. It was a Shuri Nimrod Symbiote Spider-Man deck with Destroyer. And what was awesome was, if you think about these lines, right? You play Firehair on turn 2. And then, like, you might actually not even turn 2 because I had a magic, so I can do it later. But if I do like a Wolverine turn 2, then I Deathlock the Wolverine, and then I play Shuri or Symbiote Spider-Man, Nimrod, and then on turn, and then eventually you get Firehair out as well. When you destroy the like, whether it's Carnage or Deathlock or whatever, wherever you Venom that lane, Firehair is going to reproc the destroy, and so the Nimrods will split. And then Firehair will split them again. And then you can split it again because you usually have a combination of like Venom Carnage, Venom Deathlock to close out the game on turn 7. It was actually incredible. There was Nimrods everywhere, literally everywhere. And so I had a lot of fun with that particular deck. And again, that's like the kind of shell that I don't think people were really picking up for Firehair. And it made the deck better. And so it made me wonder, like, where else are we not thinking where Firehair is going to be successful?
Yeah, it could not be a better card to have, even though we're doing like kind of our first impressions. Like, the in review on your side next week will be perfect because we'll have that much more time to like, okay, this is truly what we think. I mean, I could tell you, I feel pretty confident that if you have a good like token influx right now and or like want her, I think she's going to be good. My fear of her is the common fear of cards like this. She's going to get nerfed in some capacity. Like, do I see a 2/2 in her future? Probably, right? Like, could that even go down lower? Who knows? Depends how broken she is with other cards that come out. This will be a card, though, that she's so powerful that they're going to have to think about when they're making new cards. You know, like how some cards have that Mr. Negative effect where like they have to think about it in design. She's going to be a part of that, especially with how prevalent on reveal is and common destroy decks are.
So in my testing, like, we both came in at like, well, I came in at 5, you came in at 4.5, then like drifted to 5 eventually. And I can see it feeling this week not like a 5-star card.
Yeah.
But I, with confidence, feel like this could potentially, in the long run, be a 5-star card because of the potential. The ceiling is absolutely insane. And if you think about the Spotlight Cash week as well, we're talking about rolling in a Spotlight Cash week with Firehair, Cassandra Nova, and Nico Minoru. Like, we talked about how there's landmines and spotlight caches and they're just not good enough. Like this is the example of like, I'll go 3-4 keys and I'm feeling okay about it. You know what I mean? Like it's a great week. And Firehair is going to be one of those cards that like you will not be able to substitute. Like this is such a combo piece and such a unique effect. Like there is no substitute for something like Firehair. And we're only on the onset of the deck building with it. So for me, like, I don't know. I'm looking forward to the final review in just a couple days, I guess. But like, we'll have more like perspective, but like, yeah, like I'm pretty confident that this card is going to have a good spot in Marvel Snap.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. So we'll find out more on Alex's side on Monday and how we break, the rest of her down and what she can do. Firehair, Firehand. I can't tell you how many times I had to actually think about what her real name was because of you, honestly, because of the Snapchat episode we had a few days ago. But yeah, it was fun. This was like the best possible card to test in line. Like this could not have been. Like if it was Star Brand, I would have been like, what we'll talk about. But it's just like more like one-sided, right? Whereas this was like, what do I want to do? I can do anything. But anyway, we're gonna move on. We've got OTA Recap. Now this is one of the OTAs. I feel like of course I'll cover the OTA where there's like one change or something minimal, and then this one we had just a ton of stuff. Like this OTA was just stacked with a bunch of changes to relevant cards, man. I mean, there's two that stand out to me that we have to kind of break out first. I mean, should we just start with Loki at this point? I think Loki, I feel like, is one of the main ones to highlight here. They addressed not only things that were kind of towards the top of the meta, but then they also hit on a bunch of other cards, which, Alex, it always cracks me up that they kind of mention how like this card hasn't seen limelight in a while. We wanted to bring it, even though there's several cards that can kind of be in that bucket. Loki going down to a 1-2, bro. I saw this and I immediately just thought, oh God, this is going to be so interesting into how many decks does he truly fit in.
I like this change. I haven't actually had a chance to play much Loki just because Firehair and some others have been, and I really wanted Starbrand to work. And so I focused a lot of energy on the new cards, not necessarily on some of the OTA ones. But I had a couple thoughts. First of all, Loki, I think that the changes to Loki made me a little sad because the original design, while overpowered, I think was tremendously fun, especially when you considered having I had this God split on Loki. And so watching my whole hand turn into this beautiful gold inked split was just awesome. There was elements to it that I missed. Moving it to a 1 cost, I think makes a lot of sense. And obviously this card has seen so many different changes, 1 to dodge its outright insane power at the start, and then you had 1 to dodge the Arishem, and then 1 to dodge Collector, 1 to dodge Arishem, and then it was all these different changes. And then I had this thought, can you imagine if this 1-2 Loki existed with Chavez, the original Chavez, that thinned the deck and also turned itself into one of the cards that you can draw? Absolutely insane. Obviously you would have drawn it on 6 anyway, because it would have been something else. But the one thing about Loki is you want him on turn 1 now, just like you want Zabu on turn 1. I'm actually kind of happy about this change. At least it puts Loki back into the lane of being a legitimate archetype again.
Absolutely. With that too, we had when I say smaller, not so much, but quick conversation. Hela, Hellcow, and Swordmaster all hit to kind of tame the Hela archetype, which made sense. I mean, they did such a bold change, and then with the Scar, it ended up helping Hela more than I think they intended, and they wanted to bring that down. And Hela's just one of those archetypes that people just don't like if it's too good.
Yeah, I mean, Hela as a whole, I think part of the issue is the lack of interactivity with it.
Yeah.
And the new version of Hela, though, if you think about the beta Hela was you play Invisible Woman, you MODOK, and then you just play Hela behind Invisible Woman. You know what I mean? That's basically what the plan was. But now, there's so much consistent power. You're even Swordmaster got buffed. Swordmaster was not always a 3/7. It was a 3/6. It got buffed to a 3/7.
Right.
So you're playing Swordmaster, you're playing Hellcow, you're playing all these kind of chunky cards, and they're consistently hitting things you need, and Hela's never getting discarded. And so there's this lack of interactivity for your opponent, and you're throwing down a tremendous amount of power that they can't anticipate where the power is going to go. Yeah, it's just a little too much. And even if you're running something at Goliath, because they have no cards on the board, you can't clog them, so you can't really guess. It's just a 33.33 repeating, of course, chance to guess Hela. But yeah, it's an uninteractive card, unfortunately, and I think it frustrates people.
The great Leroy Jenkins, as Alex loves to quote here on the Snapchat. How we feel about Mamma Mia Black Cat going I feel like she lost a lot of her identity. Like, I get that Black Cat's been in the game so long at this point, right? So she's kind of bringing. Alex has just this.
What do you like? You're just demonetizing your own channel.
He's just smiling. He's just smiling over there. He's like, yeah. Hey, listen. Now I got
just keep eye contact with Cozy. She
lost her identity a little bit. I felt like with this, like we already have interesting discard stuff with like 2/6 with other good value stats, and I think they mentioned they tried to bring her down to a 3 before, and that didn't work, so they brought her down to a 2. It's fine. Like, I mean, there's cool things you could do with it now, but I almost I liked where she was at. I wish they would have tested the other stuff first and then came back to this potentially.
You know what it was? It was just that at like whatever 10-9 power shoe. What's power shoes? I can't remember. She was changed so many times.
Yeah, I think
she was just so much extra power for Hela. Like, it was just a free Hela card that you didn't even have to do anything. You didn't have to risk discarding Hela, nothing. And I think their idea here is not only you taking power off the top, but like, is there a world where you're playing like a Surge deck or something where you're just playing top decks nonstop and you top deck Black Cat? You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, I can play this. You know what I mean? And like, is this a card that you actually run the risk of trying to play? Like, really, it only dies in your opening hand, right?
Yeah, no, it's definitely fair. I mean, I think the value makes sense. Obviously, it's there. I don't know. I felt like what it did for discard was kind of unique, and now it's still unique, but it's less of so, I guess. Like, there's times like, because she's only 2, it's so much easier to be able to play her for just good stats. Well, she was a 410, right? So that, I mean, obviously, yeah, you're right. That was just stupid stats. But 2/6, yeah. And if you get the luck, then great. Outside of the opening hand. Yeah. Anyway, I think discard though, they have a lot of plans with discard. Still, we have more cards coming out to help it. And I mean, heck, you got Ghost Rider coming out. He's gonna bring whatever. Obviously, we have Khonshu, and who knows what that brings. So maybe they're looking ahead a little bit here. So we had those changes. We also had. And I know this one, there's a couple puzzling things. First, before we talk about Doom, let's talk about the shield for Captain America. I think it's funny. We brought up his interaction with Cole before he was even out. Like, I think I was like, hey, I think this is going to work with Cole.
Actually. Yeah. So, I remember it blew my mind. I was like, oh, yeah, like, that's crazy. Cool. I think I literally was blown away on the Snapchat when you brought it up. I hadn't thought of it at the time.
So I was puzzled because I'm like, well, if I thought about that without even playing the card, like I would have wished that was something they thought about without like letting that happen for a while and then taking that out, because there's such a cool, interesting interaction that made Cole. I mean, I get the philosophy behind it, but it doesn't make me like it.
I get it. Like, they were listening to the Snapchat. You said, what if you play Cole Obsidian with it? And Glenn's like, shut it.
Like, at his home having like his morning coffee. Like, no.
Yeah. Never thought of that. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I mean, the change probably had to happen. It's a little unfortunate because Cole Obsidian was just free real estate.
He was
you
so
still
free.
Can play a Tuma with him.
I'm glad they didn't change Cole, at least. Like, I'd rather the change here. Yeah, and then like make him like a 4/9 or whatever. Just like ruin that deck even more so than what he does. But and then Doom 20, bro, Doom, when he came out, we look back, we're like, I think he's gonna be a pretty good card, definitely a fun card. And now he has been like uber nerfed.
Your boy gave him 5 stars.
Yeah, I was headed there. I was headed in that direction. Alex is like was the OG Super Doom lover over here. And my gosh, like 2 points in a row on the Doom bots, man.
What was interesting about this change, and obviously Untapped is like it's a snapshot at potential accurate information, right? It was running like a 5% play rate, despite still having a good win rate. But they basically said it was the de facto best 4 drop in the game. And so they went after it again, despite the fact that, honestly, I played a lot of Snap. I think that was the Twitch drops week. Like, I was playing so much Snap. I wasn't playing against Doom bots, man.
Yeah.
People weren't playing Doom in like the decent infinite. Like, I wasn't seeing it. And so the nerf honestly surprised me. I was like, oh, okay. This has happened before. Remember when they nerfed Darkhawk?
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of, dude.
Darkhawk, right?
The Darkhawk change, this is the exact same thing. I was like, I wasn't seeing that. But I guess it's metrically good on their side. Like, it's doing better than they thought. It is sad, though, to see what he once was. Like, this is because of the snowball effect of what he can do.
Yeah, and I think now you have to lean more into the ongoing. Like, now it's more, it feels like in my early testing, again, I haven't played a ton of Doom 2099 because of the new cards that have been coming out. But like, it feels more like, I really have to hit these with Spectrum now. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just my take on that.
For sure, man. Thanos, they talked about they had big plans for the stones. It doesn't seem like that. It doesn't seem like they worked out what those were going to be ever. Maybe those turned into Agamotto cards. I don't know. But you know, Thanos got himself a little bit of love here, and I think it works. Dude, was Thanos a 6? Wasn't he an 8 power card when he came out? Was he 8 or 10? I think it was 8.
He was every 8 power.
Dude,
Arishem was the first 7, wasn't he?
He was 6, 8. No, power. Yeah, he was like a 6'8".
Oh, I was thinking cost. Yeah, no, power wise, I think he was a.
Dude, I think he was a
6'9", and they buffed him to 6'10".
Maybe he was 9. Maybe he was 9. He was. All I know is I was thinking about him, and then I was thinking about like Agamotto and some of these. What you name it, bro, Surtur, and I'm like, oh my god, the Mad Titan, like the essence of power, was so bad on release, power wise, and now we've gotten him up. He's 6'12", and his stones are great. Thanos, we have seen time over time, is just a card that they want to like cycle in and out of relevance, and sometimes it doesn't work.
Let's be honest. So the whatever drawing board they did, like whiteboard work they did on the new Thanos stones, turned into Infinity Ultron and Agamotto. Those are literally stones, right? Like
yeah.
they took those and they're like, oh, what about like OG Thanos? They're like, well, if we turn it into a new card like Agamotto, we can sell more season passes. So maybe we'll do that, and we'll give Thanos +2 power in the space. And they're like, oh, the Space Stone sucks to play. I'm like, bro, the whole thing sucks to play. Like, what are you talking about?
Dude, that's such a good leeway whenever we get to your subject. But before on that is like, I feel like they're in the design room at times, and they're like, what if this card did this? And you know, the guy in the suits in the back is like, you know what that sounds like? That sounds like a February season pass card is what that's like. Anything that super cooks, they're like, write that down. That's a season pass card. But yeah, that definitely Thanos is. Maybe they bring the new design. That was Christmas. Yeah, it was around then.
I don't remember, man. But like, I gotta tell you, I love Thanos, and I hope that Thanos is like legit, at least playable. Because listen, anybody that's burning out on Snap, it's because you're probably playing the same damn thing all the time.
Yeah.
Like, playing Thanos feels totally different than playing regular Snap. Like, it's a very different experience. Actually, I was testing a Thanos death deck. It was kind of cool. My hand was full the entire... I had a token Devil Dinosaur in there for no reason because my hand was always stacked.
There are times where whenever I am too busy to be able to get deck guides out, and this is a product of my own design of like, man, I wish I would have not gone with overproduction on half my videos, because sometimes I could have just spit out a deck idea. But I'm like, oh, this would be so cool. And it always begins with like Thanos Destroy and like trying to do something with the Killmonger and the chaos of it all. And now with our new Firehair over here. But guys, that's going to be a shorter episode of the Snapchat this week. A little bit of first impressions on Firehair, a little bit on the OTA. And then, of course, our thoughts about the Snapchat and moving forward. Not going anywhere. Snapchat's not going anywhere, guys. You get your crazy questions and Mondays to rely on for the foreseeable future, my guys. So anyway, guys, we have a lot of good subjects to talk about on Alex's side. Be sure to check out that for Starbrand and review our season pass cards OP in the Snapchat mailbag. Have a good one. Have a great one. To the next one. Happy snapping.